Test.
It's a bit behind. Alright, go back there.
Welcome to the StC Sports Show. I'm Joe Brennan alongside Aiden Fitzgerald, William McDermott, and our own LB Alejandro. LB won MVP of the field events and overall MVP in our most recent track meet where we won the Prep League title. We can talk a little bit to how that whole process went and what you've gone through this season.
Yep. We scored 166 points, and the second place was 102 with Buma. We had a lot of great performances, especially from Ian Smith, Frank, G. It's been a really cool year to watch some of these younger guys, especially kind of bloom and form into the runners that they are now. Ian Smith, he just broke our school record, Sean Mangus's previous 500-meter record, which was 106.66. He broke and ran 106.01, which was awesome for him. Soon he'll break that 106 barrier and get into the 105, which is starting to knock on the door of nationally being ranked. Also, Jaden ran a PR in the hurdles. He ran 784. Which is closing in on my PR, so I have to start running a little bit faster. But he's a great hurdle partner and is someone who can get a lot of points once Frank and I leave. So we're really encouraging him and pushing him this year, as well as our distance team. We got a lot of young guys, a lot of juniors that are really talented and skilled and can get different points in different areas. So it's been exciting.
So how have you really developed these younger guys and kind of put them into that role where they've been able to practically dominate?
Yeah, so especially with Jaden, I would say Jaden's been my project this year. As a hurdler and mostly field event guy during the indoor season and outdoor season until big meets when I'm doing the decathlon. Jaden is going to turn in and kind of replace me when I'm gone. He's going to have to take over the position. He may not do pole vault or shot put or some of the other throws events, but he'll definitely be a jumper and a hurdler. So I've really worked on him getting his form, just trying to focus on the little things, just his run up, just trying to relax. Some things that I didn't really have coaching on, didn't have a mentor on. I'm trying to put that back into the program.
And with a really solid performance this past week, how are you guys going to carry over and kind of bring that into possibly bringing home a state title?
Yep, we are seeded right now to win the states comfortably. Hopefully we can pull it off. I believe I'll be competing, but as a lot of you guys know, I've just been in a car accident 2 days ago, so I'm still a little bit sore from that. And we've got a lot of sick guys on the team, but if everyone's healthy and good, we should win pretty comfortably.
Sounds good. Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you on.
Yep, for sure.
Thank you. Got it. Welcome back. Once again, I'm Joe Brennan alongside Aiden Fitzgerald and William McDermott. And we just heard from LB Alejandro, track star, co-captain of the team, and has really been nothing short of excellent so far from this season from the Saints indoor track team. And moving on with that, the futsal team has also been one of the more dominant athletic programs this winter.
Yeah, absolutely. They're undefeated going into the Valentine Classic, of course, this weekend. Starts today, I believe. Only giving up set a couple goals, like 2 or 3. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, they've had great contributions from guys like Gerard Broussard, Guido Hagen.
Of course, Alexander Levengood.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, he's okay.
But definitely a lot of talent. They don't get as much recognition as they probably should, kind of in the shadow of the soccer team. And it's really just been interesting to see them kind of grow throughout the past couple of years and really expand on this program.
Yeah, definitely. I happened to catch one of their games the other day, and they beat Collegiate pretty handily, 3-0, I believe. So, I mean, it's not, can't really get much better than that.
By Mr. Pava, who is a tremendous guy, great coach, and actually played professional soccer back in the day.
Yeah, and of course, anytime you have someone like that on your roster, just coaching, helping out the team, it helps the younger guys sort of develop into, a competitor and someone who wants to play at the next level.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure a lot of the players see him as a role model and hope to one day achieve some of the things that he's achieved in his career.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's interesting, though, is a lot of guys on that team have college aspirations, trying to play at the next level.
Yeah.
And a few, I'm pretty sure, are committed and are already moving on to that next step next year.
Yeah, definitely, with Alexander Levengood going to William & Mary and Sam Moore going to UNC for soccer. I mean, and these guys are on the futsal team bringing their talents there. So, I mean, it's been a great season for the Saints.
Really has. All right. Now, moving on to another sport that has had actually a rough year and has been the sole sport on this winter program to maybe not have their best season in a while is the Saints basketball unit. Off to a 7-18 start with one game left remaining in the regular season.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Prep League tournament next week, having the semis and the finals at home. The Saints look to hold home court advantage at the end of the season. I don't know how that's going to go, though.
Yeah, the Saints have a tough game this Friday tomorrow against Collegiate here at home, as they played Collegiate earlier in the season away, and they lost. But that game could decide seeding for the Saints, whether they go to play away at Fuma, at Stab, who they actually beat this Tuesday in a great game, or they could play Fork Union away.
Yeah, and Fork Union, actually, the Saints lost to last Friday in a close game, but couldn't pull it out towards the end. And they played Fork Union earlier in the year where Arnold Henderson hit a game-winning 3 with roughly a second left. So that would be an interesting matchup. But stopping Collegiate is definitely going to be interesting. Collegiate actually beat Trinity last week behind Robbie Barron's 35 points, shooting 21 for 25 from the free throw line.
Yeah, of course, Robbie Barron committed to Northwestern, ESPN Top 100 4-star recruit. It's a tough matchup for the Saints, but the last time they played, Walker Wallace, junior forward, locked them up pretty well.
Wallace has proven to be one of the most elite defenders on this unit. Guards
Alongside Gil Williamson, who I believe last night had a few monster blocks, or 2 nights ago. I mean, it was just shutting down the offense. And I mean, it's hard to not be disappointed in the Saints' performance this year. But I mean, you got to look at the roster. Like, there's a lot of young guys on the team with only one senior, Arnold Henderson, after Will Hayes left the team over the breaks. But I mean, there's a lot of talent in these young guys, so I'm hopeful for the Saints in the future.
Definitely. And there's been a lot of freshman playing time between Trent Hendrick, Andre Green, and Nikos Kovanis. Unfortunately, the injury of KP Poli, who was actually getting a lot of playing time before.
Starting going into the winter tournaments, such as Tri-City Classic and TDIT.
Yeah, but when he fell against Petersburg, it was rough. Out for the season. Hopefully we'll be back next year to have even more strong contributions. But one thing I've been really interested by is the lineup changes that we've seen throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like every game Coach Jones has gone with a different lineup, and that could suit the size of the opponent they're playing. But I mean, it's kind of odd to see. He's getting a lot of guys good minutes, runs a full rotation, so it's pretty interesting to see the Saints play this year. And I think going into further years when the younger guys develop more, and of course they've struggled on the defensive end, just start buying into the sort of schemes that Coach Jones wants. I think this team could become dangerous in the Prep League.
Hopefully. Their biggest concern definitely is going to be their outside shooting. they go through games where they only have 1 or 2 3-pointers.
Yeah, it's really like hot and cold. Sometimes they go great from 3-point range. Arnold Henderson against Fuma had 21 points. Saint shot really well that game, but here at home against Stab, they went 1 for 10 from 3, and the only 3, of course, by big man Gil Williamson.
The one bright side of this roster, though, is definitely their athleticism. With guys like Nigel Green, Andre Green, Trent Hendrick, Gil Williamson, Walker Wallace. A lot of guys that are 3-sport athletes. A lot of guys that are just great at finishing at the rim, very athletic. But once again, that outside shooting could really end up hurting them in this long run.
Yeah, it should be interesting seeing, coming off the win on Tuesday night, going into the game on Friday, how this sort of affects them against Collegiate and just going into the Prep League tournament, who they are hosting this year, the semifinals and finals.
Yeah, but I'm hopeful. Last game of the year, we're on a pretty good winning streak for us this season, and it's a rivalry game. It's a toss-up like any rivalry game, and hopefully we'll have enough passion to pull it out.
Of course, hopefully we'll get lots of support this game. The Saints community has not been as excited about basketball this year because of their poor record, but hopefully we'll get a good crowd for this last game.
Yeah, the collegiate game always delivers.
Yeah, of course.
All right, that finishes basketball for us, and we'll be right back with the wrestling recap. Here.
Is this? Yeah. Just make it.
Welcome back. Once again, I'm Joe Brennan alongside Willie McDermott, Aiden Fitzgerald, and we have Jackson Turley here with us, Rutgers commit, varsity wrestling, and we're here to talk a little bit about the wrestling season so far. Jackson, what has it been like so far this year's season?
So, so far I think we've done pretty well. We're undefeated. Nope, we're not undefeated. We lost one duel this year. I mean, it was to a top 20 team in the country, and I mean, I think that we held up pretty well. But, duel-wise, I mean, we've been pretty good as a team, clearing it up, getting bonus points, cheering each other on, going past duels to tournaments. This year we had 2 finalists in the Beast of the East finals. I mean, that's something that's never been done at St. Christopher's before. And, I mean, Beast of the East is one of the best tournaments in the country. We had as many places, I think, as 5 at Escape the Rock, another top tournament in the country, and we finished in the top 10, and that's something that we haven't done before. So I think this program is on the rise, and we're going to be doing something great here, and I think this is just the start of it.
So what do you really credit those like victories and all those awards and recognitions coming from? Like, how does that start from the bottom?
So, I mean, it all starts with what we do up there in the room. I mean, as you see me now, I'm full sweat, drenched. I mean, I just got a good workout in, and at this point of the season, I mean, those championships, those trophies, those awards, everything is just going to come, and it's going to start with our training. You know, we train hard, we compete hard, you know, you do all that, and the results will come to you.
Now, wrestling's a really physically demanding sport. How do you get motivated to go through that entire gruesome season to try and push towards the end?
Right. You know, I've been doing this for a really long time, been banged up a couple times, had something torn in my shoulder, you know, might have something torn in my knees. I mean, this year so far, you know, I'm facing a little bit with some back problems right now, but it's just something that you have to overcome. It's just something that you have grit, perseverance. You just got to push through it, you know. I mean, I'm struggling right now, like I said, with my back, but I'm doing my rehab. I'm doing everything I can to do it. And, you know, it would be a miracle if I made it out of wrestling season without, you know, being banged up every now and then. I mean, this year alone, I've had something with both of my knees, my back, my shoulders messed up, but it's not something I can make excuses out of because I know everybody else is going through the same thing. I just got to overcome those injuries better than other people.
So, as a leader of this team, as a senior, how do you set the tone in the locker room?
In the locker room, I mean, I think with our team specifically, we only have 15 minutes in there. Not even. You know, you go to class, you change your clothes, you're straight up there. Locker room, I mean, it's not really a place to mess around a little bit. After practice, you know, we like to hang out in there a little bit, you know, talk, and it's fun. And it's just something that you got to include everybody in. You know, you can't be doing activities that, you know, you can't be doing in front of little kids. You know, you basically just got to be a unit in there. You gotta act as a whole. And, you know, somebody messes up, everybody messes up. Like example with the towels thing, you know, some people leave some towels, nobody gets towels.
Of course.
You know, it's something that all of us as a unit have to control and be a part of.
And what are your expectations for the rest of the season?
So the rest of the season just consists of states and national preps. I mean, I think that we can. I mean, I'm looking past states a little bit in my head. You know, my main goal is at national preps and trying to get that victory that I've never gotten before. But for the team itself, I think we go into states and it's possible that we have 14 champs. I think that we're that good. I believe that we're that good. You know, obviously that's something that's going to be a little tough to do, but I think it's doable. I'm thinking we're coming out of there winning at least half of those weight classes, and that's a credit again to what we've been doing this year. Our training has been harder than ever before, and I think that we're ready. Going into national preps, I'm looking for a top 3 finish as a team. That's something that's going to be hard to do. You know, the top 3 teams have been the same teams every single year going into national preps, or the teams that are ranked in the top 20 each year. And I think that we have the potential this year to be able to break that. You know, start something new, make this a big name program in the country. And I mean, individually, I think that we could have 4 or 5 guys in the finals there coming out with 2 or 3 champions. You know, that's just the short goal that we have now. But in the future, you know, I want to look back and see St. Chris at national preps, you know, winning 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, titles up there, just like Blair Academy does. You know.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Charlie. Pleasure to have you.
Yes, man.
Wish you luck for the rest of your season.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back after a short break.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Finished up all 4 of our main sports here, so we're just going to do a quick wrap-up, starting off with track, Joe. So what upcoming things do they have going on this weekend?
They have states coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see that. They have a couple people probably going to go to Penn Relays. Yeah, they've been fabulous this year. Really excited to see how the rest of the season turns out. I definitely have high expectations, don't you, Aiden?
Definitely. I mean, with senior leaders, LB Alejandro and Frank Royal, I mean, you can expect a lot of great things from these guys.
You mentioned Frank Royal. One thing that's really interesting is last week's 4x200 was purely spectacular.
It was.
One of the greatest races I've ever seen. It's actually still up on our YouTube if you'd like to see it.
We did a track stream last weekend.
If you want to go to the 4x200, it's at 2 hours and 35 minutes on the stream. Terrific. I totally recommend it. It was wild. I mean, and Frank definitely great runner. Going to UCLA next year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so Saints track team killed it. Looking forward to this weekend at State's going to be hosted here. And moving on to basketball, got a big game coming up this Friday against Collegiate at home. Could be a seeding match for the Prep League tournament, which they will host the semifinals and finals here at St. Chris.
Yeah, that Collegiate game will definitely be fun. We're going to have a lot of fans. It's always a great game with St. Chris Collegiate. Those two rivals. There's not a bigger rivalry in the history of sports.
Yeah, I can't. History of sports.
History of sports.
Yeah.
History of sports.
Right. So definitely come out, support, see the game live. If you can't, always tune into our YouTube, StC TV, to see the stream.
Yeah. So now moving on to futsal at the Valentine Classic, starting today, I believe.
I believe they play tonight and then on Saturday.
Yeah, I believe we're streaming it on Saturday as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should be pretty interesting.
And finally, wrestling, as we just heard from Jackson Turley, they have very high expectations for themselves.
Extremely high
Very high,
expectations. Yes.
I mean, but like you said, they're achievable.
I love the passion from all of these sports programs. A lot of effort put in from everyone. And I really want to see how it shakes out. I'm excited.
Yeah, so this is our last StC Winter Sports Show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm William McDermott. This is Joe Brennan, Aiden Fitzgerald. And we'll see you guys this Friday for
our basketball game.
St. Chris Collegiate. Thank you.